Welcome to Sacredly Selfish, a space where we flip the script on what it means to choose yourself.
I'm Megan, and together with Raju, we're diving into raw, real conversations that explore self love, boundaries, healing, and what happens when women stop abandoning themselves and start living in alignment.
Because being selfish isn't wrong. When it's sacred, it's revolutionary.
We're so glad you're here. Now, let's get selfish. Welcome back to another episode of Sacredly Selfish. Today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have just a random girl chat. Raju and I haven't actually spoken in what now? Over a week and a half, it seems like.
Yeah, I think before I left.
We're just going to do it a little bit differently today, and you guys can be a little fly on the wall while we catch up. So, Raju, how was your trip? I'm so excited to hear about it.
Yeah, I went to Cabo with my family for about 5 days. We were gone last week. The trip was so amazing. So we have not traveled besides like for weddings last year. We haven't actually had a proper vacation since my husband passed away. So this trip was just like something much needed. My kids have never been to like a place with actual proper sand, not Vancouver sand, and just like a beach resort kind of trip. So we went to Mexico and we were at a resort, and the kids had so much fun. My in-laws joined us. They had so much fun too because they've never traveled really anywhere besides India going back home. So this was like a new experience for them as well too. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't even know what else to say. I
How
think
how was the experience of packing everybody up, getting ready for the trip? Did you get new
mm,
clothes? Like how did it all kind of flow? Did you feel like you were in your heroine when you were getting ready?
yeah, so I this trip actually was just planned a few weeks ago. So it was like early January or something. I've been looking into going somewhere like tropical during February, and we ended up just planning this trip in January, and it was like very like I would say it was like last minute for me because I am a planner and I plan things quite in advance. So we did end up buying obviously new summer clothes, and I just wanted to have like these beautiful flowy dresses that I felt comfortable in and that just felt so me versus like in the past when I have been traveling. I'm always trying to find whatever's the most trendiest outfit possible out there. I had to buy the kids new clothes, their last year summer clothes. They're outgrown.
Mhm.
Kids grow out of stuff like every few months. So we did a bunch of new shopping for that, which was exciting. So I did all of that in January. So packing and stuff was fine because I was the typical me, very well prepared, and I packed a week in advance because I knew I still had to work the week before we left. So packing and all of that was fine. I didn't feel stressed with that, but this is the part that you and I have not like talked about because we've been
Mhm.
so busy, both of
Mhm.
us, that there was a lot that came up with
Oh.
this trip.
Oh.
So it started, okay, so like I said, this is the first trip that we've taken since he's passed away, right?
Mhm.
First, like, vacation, I wanna say, right?
Yeah.
Because we did go to Toronto back in September,
But that's a
but
little
that was for a
different
wedding.
because it's like
Yeah,
family and it's a wedding and it's like it's
yeah,
a different kind of vibe. This is like more holiday vacation. You get to rest and really be with
exactly,
like everybody that you're closest with, like your immediate family.
exactly. So, that's why, like, this trip, I think I didn't expect it to the emotions to creep on me the way they did, and I was a little bit worried because the previous, like, trip we took 6 months ago, Giona was very difficult on the airplane. He was not buckling up for takeoff and landing. Like, you probably remember all the stress
Yeah.
I was feeling in that moment.
Mhm.
So I noticed on February 14th, Valentine's Day, I think just considering the day it was already, I was okay like throughout the day, but I noticed as the evening got and I was like, okay, guys, we got to go to bed on time. Like, we got to treat this like a school day. We have to be up by 5 a.m., all these things. I got into bed and I had this anxiety attack.
Oh,
My
wow.
whole body started shaking and I started crying.
Oh my god.
I was texting my sisters. I was like, I don't feel okay. I feel really scared. I miss him a
Mm.
lot. And it just feels like a lot right now for me, even though I've been so I've been looking forward to this trip, and now all of a sudden I'm just feeling really overwhelmed, and I feel nervous, and I feel scared to fly with the kids, and I'm like worried about how Giona's gonna be on the flight because last time I felt like I wasn't able to, like, I felt the judgment from everybody, and I know that's not, like, something that we should have to worry about as a mom, but it happens so much, and, like, especially on an airplane, like, it's if one kid's loud, it's like you feel like you're disturbing everybody else's experience, and I know I should not think that, but obviously in that moment, that's all I could think about, and all I could think about was, like, "This sucks." Like, I'm taking my kids on this, like, beautiful trip. They're getting this experience to go to a different country, yet he's not with me. And I was just crying, and my sister's like, "You know what? Like, just take it one step at a time." Dude, me and ChatGPT were having a full-on conversation.
ChatGPT is very helpful in these situations, like, trying to
Yeah, oh
calm
my
you down.
god.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
100%.
yeah, the loving words that Chat was telling me. Um, yeah, it was a very I have not experienced that type of anxiety in a really long time. My whole body was trembling, and I couldn't. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get off my phone, I'm gonna do a meditation, something to help me sleep, and I'm gonna start the morning off, like, with a clearer mind," and
Mhm.
that was kind of the process I went through, and eventually, like, I just fell asleep, um, feeling a bit more relieved. I think I needed to cry, I need to go through those feelings because I think I was so robotic in all the motions of getting ready and
Yeah.
really, like, focusing on how I want to feel during the trip
Mhm.
and not really thinking about the grief aspect of it and just kind of like, okay, I'm in my heroine, like what does my heroine want, what does my soul want, and all these things, but I wasn't really thinking about, okay, well, this is the first big trip you guys are doing without him, so how is that going to look? And I didn't prepare myself for that, and that's the thing about grief, it sneaks in,
I was
it
literally
sneaks in when you're not
just
expecting it.
about to say that. I was like, grief
Yeah.
comes and goes out of nowhere. It's like one day you're fine, the next day you're a complete mess. It's like this idea that we think that we everything and every day is going to be perfect and that you're going to just go to sleep and you're going to go on this beautiful trip and not think that that's going to have some sort of effect, and you think that it's not because you've done all this healing and everything is going forward, but it's also like, no, give yourself the space to grieve that your late husband isn't going to be joining you on this trip. Like, feel the grief of also you having to do this alone, trying to wrangle your kids, and that idea that everybody else on the airplane is going to be like judging you and be like, "Oh god, of course there's another kid. I'm not going to have a great time." Of course you're going to feel that. That's like a given. I would feel the same way if I had a kid and I was bringing them on an airplane. It's like you don't know with everybody's personalities nowadays what's going to set them off, if they're going to be in a certain mood and then take that out on you. So your feelings are so freaking valid, and how beautiful though is it came up right before your trip. I'm hoping that it mellowed out and you're able to work through that after you talked to your sisters and you were able to meditate. Like, how did it feel afterwards? Like, as you were saying, like, you did feel a little bit more relief and that your body needed to like expel that energy?
So I'm sitting here and I can see myself as well too. I am extremely sad.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that doesn't mean my trip was not good.
Of
It
course.
was amazing. I
Mhm.
woke up that morning, to go back to what you're asking, I woke up that morning just completely feeling fresh. We
Mhm.
went there, we had hiccups. My kids, finally, after, I don't know if you guys know the international um, airports, Starbucks, there's a long lineup. And bless my father-in-law, he was in that line for a very long time. And with the kids, we arrived like super early at the airport. And my kids ended up spilling my oat shake and espresso on me,
No.
plus my mother-in-law's hot chai tea on my pants, so I had wet
No.
pants for the flight, for a little bit of the flight, but thankfully they were very airy pants that they dried. So we
Yeah.
had some hiccups. There was some children stuff that happened.
Yeah.
However, my kids, this is just to show that within 6 months, a kid's development changes so much. My kids were amazing on the flight there and the flight back. I have
Yeah.
no complaints on them. They were amazing. They did well. They had obviously their moments. They
Mhm.
are 2 years old, or almost 3 and 4 years old. So obviously they're gonna have their moments, but they were amazing. I felt really good. I felt really excited. the whole remember the fear I had with
Yeah.
Mexico and like booking the shuttle and everything. Everything
Yeah.
went smooth because I
Yeah.
felt so good in myself. In that moment, I felt so good.
Mhm.
And the whole trip, we were all like so aligned. The whole family was so aligned. And I noticed because back when we went to Toronto, there was a little bit of headbutting that was happening amongst the family, and there was a lot of like emotions that were arising. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact it was a family wedding, and
Mhm.
there was a lot more stressors surrounding that. I think it was the kind of the first like travel we did as a family together without him. So I know like with my in-laws too, there was a little bit of anxiety and I'm sure emotions that were, not really discussed that were surfacing in different ways. And we worked through that. So this trip was a lot different. We were all in such a great space. We all had so much fun. We did the pool, we did the beach, we walked around, we went to the marina, we did a boat cruise, like all these things.
Amazing.
Um, yeah, which was like beautiful. One thing that I want to highlight is when I got there, so obviously he was on my mind, and when we got there at the evening after when we settled down, the kids went to sleep, I had the light was on that was next to me by my bedside, and it started flickering.
Mm.
So, normally, something like that, I'd be like, "There's a effing ghost in here." I need to, because I'm all about hotels are haunted. So
Mhm.
I'd be like, "There's a ghost in here, I need to get out of here." But in that moment, now, why the flickering of the light is so significant,
Yeah.
because recently, over the last few months, I have noticed during quiet times, a random light bulb will flicker in my home. And I don't believe the bulb's going to be fusing soon. Whatever somebody wants to say, I know when I have put those bulbs in. They're not fusing anytime soon. And they're randomly different bulbs or a flash of light or something. And I'll acknowledge it. I will say, like, hi, babe. I know you're here. Thank you for visiting. I love you. I miss you so much. And I tell my kids too. I'm like, hey, Dada's trying to get in contact with us. Like, Dada's around right now. Like, just acknowledge, like, say hi to Dada. And they'll be like, hi, Dada. And like stuff like that. So that flicker was it was like, you may not think I'm here, but I'm here.
Yeah.
And that was like, sorry, I'm so emotional today.
No, this is beautiful. Like, you need to get it out, and I think that, like, us holding things in and not expressing, not being vulnerable is such a disservice, and, like, you are feeling as you are feeling, and that's okay. Crying is okay. Being in sadness is okay. Having grief is okay. It's a part of life, and, like, how beautiful is it that you were having all of these emotions before and he's watching over you and he's so proud of you and sorry, now I'm getting emotional. And he's so proud of you and he's like, "You know what? My love needs a reminder that I am always with her and I'm going to show her in the best way that I know that she will know that it's me." And so that very first night, are you kidding me? That is so beautiful, but that doesn't take away the heartache. That doesn't take away the grief that you're experiencing.
It's been really heavy. I experienced so much happiness over the last week and so much sadness at the same time. And it was just like, like moments like I'm watching the kids, I'm having so much fun. And I'm not trying to sit here and say, like, I was tearful, I was crying the whole trip. I had a fucking blast. And I'm sitting there having so much fun with the kids, but it's like the quiet moments when I'm watching the kids, like them experiencing the beach and them like having fun in the pool and just like sitting there knowing that he's missing out on these little things, these little moments in our family, and like we're doing it without him. It's like a bittersweet,
Yeah,
painful moment,
of
if that makes
course.
sense. Like you're happy but you're also sad at the same time, and you're missing him and you're grieving him and all these things, and you just sit there and you go, I'm so fortunate that I'm getting to do this with my kids, and I'm so proud of myself that I am giving my kids these experiences regardless of how life feels for me. but I'm also super sad because I miss him so much and he should be here. It's not fair. He should be here to see his kids playing on the beach. He should be playing with them. He should be in the pool. Should be doing all these things. It shouldn't be just me doing it alone with them, right? Like they deserve to have their dad here too. And it was those little moments that I would feel like that tug on my heart. And then I would just take a deep breath and I would say, I know you came with me. I know you're here. I know they can't see you. I know I can't see you, but I know you're here because I know he was there. And I think that's why that flicker of the light was so important for me to have because I think it would have been a lot different the trip if I did not feel his presence, right? I would have been looking for it. And it was like in the quiet moment, just that flicker on the side of the bed was like, hey, I got you, babe. I'm still here. You're not alone. You may feel like you're doing this alone, but you're not doing it alone.
Yeah.
And then I noticed traveling so amazing. Mood was great, everything. And then I noticed coming back, all of a sudden I got grumpy, very
Interesting.
irritable, the flight back. With reflection, I realized it's because there was so much expansion that happened, and all of a
Mm.
sudden there was this contraction that happened. And since I've been back, and that's why, like I said, I'm very sad because since I've been back, and I've been telling you I feel overstimulated and all these
Mhm.
things, like I haven't obviously dived into this part of my grief, but since I've been back, I feel so proud of, you know, being where I am right now, 3 years later, but I also feel so sad and sometimes guilty at the same time that I'm getting to do all of this and he doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
And that I get to see the kids grow and he doesn't. And it's and this is what I mean. Like it's been a really long time since grief has hit me this hard. And I'm struggling through it right now. And I think it's okay to recognize that and admit that. And I think the thing is, people see like I'm going through all these things. I'm doing these things with my kids, and they give me all like, they're like, oh, you're doing so good. Like, I couldn't have imagined being in your situation. But they don't see the quiet little times when I'm having difficulty even just getting through the day.
It's so easy for outside perception and outside like, the way that the world sees it, because especially with social media, like, we're putting all our happy times and that's not to say that you're not having a good time. Like you said, it is very bittersweet. And it's like a part of you is missing, like that there's a hole inside of you, and it's like, how do you keep moving on? How do you keep living and experiencing these things without your love with you? But also knowing he's with you, but in a different sense. And yes, of course, that's not comforting because you want the physical aspect of that person to be walking beside you, to be holding their hand, to be experiencing these things with you. Oh my God, now my grief is coming up.
Sorry, guys, this took a turn.
This is not what I was expecting girl chat to be like today. Oh my
I
goodness.
wasn't either because I'm seeing myself on the screen and I'm like, oh my God, girl, you're broken. Your face, like, you're so sad and you've been suppressing it this whole weekend. Like,
Yeah.
you've just been putting it on the back burner and dealing with other things that are going on in life and in other people's lives. And when you're just like,
Isn't
it took such a huge step.
isn't it so interesting how we end up looking at everybody else's life and then like start picking that apart instead of looking inwards? And it's so interesting you say that because like I've been feeling for the last couple of weeks this like am I isolating? Is there something going on? I'm like trying to understand it, trying to unravel it and I'm like no, like I'm good, but here I am now speaking about grief and I'm like maybe I have still some emotions like when you're talking about like how that person's not here and they're not doing all these things with you experiencing life like I think about Dave and I think about that same thing and it's like how is that fair and it's so easy to say like oh there's life outside of here, like, they're, like, and I do believe that. I truly believe that there is something after this life and we're all here for a reason and all of these things, but that doesn't negate the fact that those people are not with you still, and that you're not experiencing life with that, or that you're missing a part of yourself. And obviously my situation is very different than yours. But again, grief hits at like random times and it comes up surprisingly. Like, this is not what we expected for today. Today was supposed to be fun, light, and like airy. And how beautiful is it that you and I can come together and this is what ends up taking place? Like, we don't know what we're feeling unless we are open to it, unless we are being vulnerable and being ourselves. And this is so important with especially friendships and girlfriends, and having that safe space to be able to share how you're feeling.
And this is how normally our conversations are. We've just both been so busy since I've been back, and we're like, we'll just chat like in a couple of days when we get online. So like, yeah, we've had our messages here and there, but it's like we just haven't had a chance to dive into what's going on.
Yeah.
And I've noticed like that grief is like very dominant right now in my life, in this moment, in this week. And that's the thing, that it comes in when you're not expecting it. But the beauty of healing and moving through grief is that you're able to move through it. Something like this would have floored me 2 years ago. I would
Yeah,
have not been getting out of bed. I wouldn't have even been able to talk about it like this. I would have
exactly.
probably just been sitting in bed, constantly just suppressing, suppressing, suppressing. And this time I'm like, you know what? I'm so fortunate for my travel, and I'm so happy my kids have no idea what mom's feeling during this time, right?
Yeah.
And they've experienced such a beautiful trip. Like they're asking my in-laws too. They're asking, when's the next time we're going to travel? They have this like travel itch happening. And here I am. I'm just like, that was heavy. That was beautiful. I felt so in my divine and soul self there, but also that soul and divine self really felt the absence and the
Yeah.
hurt and the loss and just the lack of the person that you want to be there, that should be there with you. And then the guilt around that.
Yes.
And it was that's the thing, right? You can grieve somebody, you can move forward, you can start your healing journey, you can do your work around it. It will still come back in, and that guilt will still come in on some days. And I know I don't let the guilt beat me up. Like obviously there's nothing I can do about the fact that he is gone.
Yeah.
I know he's still around me. He gives me those signs, but at the same time, I'm still human. I can feel guilty about it. And and that's okay. I think that's the reminder, cuz I do feel guilty. I do feel guilty at times when I'm watching my kids do all these things and he's not there to do it. And sometimes I even sit there and I think and I go, how would my kids be personality wise if their dad was alive? Would
Mhm.
I still have the same kind of son? Would I still have the same daughter?
Yeah.
How would they be? Because they wouldn't only be raised by me, they would have been being raised like, obviously, my in-laws are helping me, but you know what I mean? Like, they would have had their other half that
Parent.
created
Yeah.
them there as well too. So that always crosses my mind, like and I think another big thing that came up as well too this weekend was we were talking about him. I was talking with his cousin about him, and we were just saying, and I said to her, I said, like she didn't know I was feeling this way about my travel. And I said to her, I said, he was the person that gave so much to his nieces and nephews. Like we were the place that they would come, their big toys for their presents and all this stuff for Christmas. Like, and I know it's not about the toys, but he gave so much to his nieces and nephews. And when it was his turn to do that for his children,
Mm.
he died.
Yeah.
Now his kids don't get to experience the love he gave to everybody else, to all the other children in our life. And I sit and I say that's so unfair
But I also think
because
that you give that like that love to them so beautifully. You are such a good fucking mom. You are such a good mom, and I don't Obviously, I don't know what it's like, and to endure all of that and to have all these pressures and all this guilt and everything, but you are doing the best that you can and you're doing a great job, and I really think it needs to be highlighted because I don't think anyone tells you that enough. That you are doing the best that you can with all the grief that you're holding, with doing it alone when this is not what you envisioned for your life.
That's the thing though, right? The guilt, it creeps in sometimes so strong. And I start thinking like it's just unfair. Like my kids should be getting all of this. My
Yeah.
kids should be experiencing, yes, I'm giving them the love, but they don't have the love from, yes, I'm giving them a lot of love. It's that love that I received from him, that everyone else in the family received from him. They didn't get to experience that. Rhea got it for 1 year.
Mhm.
And that reminder I sent on Snapchat of him picking
Yeah.
Rhea out of her crib
Yeah.
that I had happened to record 4 years ago to this day, um, just reminded me how much and seeing how Rhea was lighting up looking at him.
Yeah.
It's like the little moments like that. Like, I'm glad I recorded that and I have that and I have the video of him like talking to her and saying, "Hi, Papa, Dada's here. Hi, Papa." And she's kicking her feet and she's so excited after nap time that he's about to take her out of her sleep sack. And I'm like, there's so much that goes on now in my kids' lives and the things they do and their personalities that I wish he was there. I'm like, why am I only getting to experience this and he's not getting to experience this? Like it's just unfair and it's strange because I've dealt with the whole aspect of grief and guilt.
Mhm.
I've dived deep into it. I've like really reflected on it and all of that. And I have not felt the guilty aspect of it in a very long time. And for some reason, this trip really resurfaced that. And it's like exploded like a active volcano inside of me, to be
I'm
honest.
wondering if, like, do you think that this will, like, the guilt aspect of it will come up a lot when there's big moments? Like, I feel like when there's big moments, like, um, going into high school or, getting married or the kids are doing this, like, when there's big moments, like this trip was huge for you guys. Like you're gonna get to go on this nice beachy vacation and experience something different. Like maybe that there's a part that will always feel this way. Maybe not each time it'll feel as strong, but maybe that's kind of just a reminder for us of like also remembering and not forgetting that person and like how beautiful, like I saw that video that you sent me. Literally, I had my smile was wide. It was such a beautiful freaking moment. And like you have that now and thank God that you recorded that. And that's another thing is just like having these little moments that you can reflect back on and like he would have been such a great dad. He would have been so beautiful to the two kids. And you're right, like this whole aspect of how would the kids be, how would their personalities be, but we can't also go back like life happened the way that it is and also you can feel like it is unfair. It's not fair and it's like how do we now navigate that? And are you feeling more like there is hope, or do you feel like you're still in that pit of, like, trying to sort everything out? Or are you just trying to keep going, keep doing everything and kind of ignoring it? Like, how has the transition been now since you've been back?
Going back to the whole, I agree with you. I think a lot of this guilty feeling and grief is going to surface during big times. So this was the big like the big first big trip we took. So, you talk about all the big firsts you do and you only usually think of them in the first year. And for me now, I realize it's not just the first birthday, the
Yeah.
first anniversary, the first this, that, Christmas, and all of that. It actually is first for other little things as well, too. This week, now, when you talked about, them going to high school and stuff like that, this week, actually, while I was in Mexico, I got an email saying that Rhea was accepted at the elementary school for kindergarten. So it was like an acceptance email that came in,
Oh,
and more will come to follow for her orientation and all of that. So that was like a huge moment as well, too, because I'm like thinking about it. When I got the email, I was like so excited. I'm like, oh, this is so
yeah.
cute. And then after, like, I remember sitting on the beach and I was like, oh my God, she's going to kindergarten, which means it's going to be 4 years since he passed away. because she was only 13 months old when he died. So it's like, moments like that, it hits you
Y
so hard in your heart, then you're just like it's like a moment of happiness, but then the grief's like, I'm still here.
yeah.
And it's like you gotta learn to live with it together.
Mhm.
And like it's a journey that's going to be always shared, right? Grief's always going to sit around with me and follow me and be there. And some days it's going to be more and loud and present as it has been over the last few days. And then sometimes it's going to be so quiet I'm not going to notice it, and I'm going to catch myself in the middle of the laughter, and it's going to be like, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Hi. Like that happens sometimes. I'm laughing and all of a sudden I'm like, my God, how much would he have laughed at this joke?
Yeah.
Or like when I say, because you know me, I have a quirky
Yeah.
personality. My jokes are very dad jokes,
Yeah.
but they make everybody laugh. Like I'll say something really silly and they'll just make everybody laugh. And like sometimes I say that and I'll be like, he'd been like, babe, you're such a dork. Like you literally said that to me. So it's like moments like that. Sometimes the grief comes in and you're like, smile and laugh at the grief. And sometimes you're just like, no, you know what? I need to really feel and move through this. So going back to how I am now. So I wouldn't say that I was suppressing all these feelings. It was just taking me time to really understand where they were coming from. And I guess today instead of girl chat, it ended up being therapy session for Raju.
Yep, but that's okay. That's how it works with us. This is usually
So
the
welcome to my
dynamic.
welcome to a live therapy session for Raju. Um I feel regardless of the emotions I'm having today during this episode, I feel fine in terms of like, I know I am grounded. I know I'm reflecting. I know I am like, I am okay. I got myself. I've always got myself. I'm not suppressing things. It's just there's been obviously, other family things that have been going on in others' lives that have been kind of brought to me. So it felt really like I wasn't able to this weekend with the chaos in the house really sort through my thoughts that I wanted to before I went back to work. And now that I've been back to work for 2 days and me and you finally chatted,
Yeah.
um, I feel a lot lighter.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if that answered your question,
No,
but
it
I feel a
does.
lot lighter.
I think, you know, it's always gonna be there. Like, grief is always gonna be there, and it's like, okay, feeling it as it goes, not, like, hunkering down, and I think this is the beauty of, like, how you and I get together, is, like, we get to express those feelings, we get to really dive deep on, like, how you're actually feeling. It's so interesting that when we get together and then these things come up, sometimes we don't even realize that this is how we're feeling, or that something is, like, arising for us, and, like, how the dynamic of it all. And I think there's this idea that, oh, it's been X amount of years, like 4 years you were saying, um, and we're supposed to just be magically fine. And I think there's like this perception also that, like, okay, like it's been 4 years, like get your shit together. Like you can't be sad. Like why are you crying on this podcast? Like it doesn't make sense. Like we have to feel the emotions of life. And this is a part of life. And it doesn't mean like we're not upset and we're not sad and we don't go through things. It's like, no, we do, but how are we handling it? How are we coming to our friends? How are we discussing it? Are you having real conversations? Or are you just being surface level? Like you have to really dig deep. And this is like the beauty of friendships. This is the beauty of family, of being able to have these raw conversations and see what happens. Like I didn't even think like I was going to get emotional about grief. Like Dave's been gone for quite some time and I thought, okay, yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. But when you sit to reflect, when you sit to think about it, it's like, holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit.
I think it's when somebody finally really presents how they're feeling in their grief and they open up and they speak rawly from the bottom of their heart of what's going on. It sometimes allows the other person who is listening to really understand that some of their feelings currently might be related to them missing that
Yeah.
person. It kind of puts perspective
Yeah.
into like, what it really feels like me talking about him not being on this trip and me doing all these things and feeling guilty. It's like it brings a lot of memories back for how you feel that, your our life keeps going on.
Yeah.
That person's life on earth stopped here, right? So for us, it's like our life keeps going on. And as humans, we're like, we wish they were here to experience this. We wish they were here to see, everything we're doing and do these things alongside and hold our hands. And it's I think that's the beauty of grief. It allows so many more doors to open up for you and for others to express how they are feeling when you're vulnerable enough to share. I could have come on here. I mean, I didn't think it was going to go in this direction at all,
Yeah.
but I could have come on here and just said, "Oh my God, my trip was amazing, guys. Like, we had so much fun. The kids did this, did that, did that." But it's as soon as you asked me about it, I was like, it was good, but you know what? I didn't feel good when when I was leaving. I felt great there, and then I had this contraction that happened, and that allowed you. And I know recently for you too, like there was some guilt surrounding grandparents as well
Yeah.
too that has come up, right?
Yes.
And that's like so many years later after your grandma and grandpa
Yeah.
passed away, and that's the thing. Grief and guilt, they kind of go side by side
Yeah.
because you'll keep doing things in life. And then, like I said, some moments you will laugh in the grief, and some moments of grief will literally make you sit down and you have to really sit there and think about, like, this sucks. I don't want to do this without them. I feel guilty. I'm doing this. They should be doing this. They should be doing that. I wish I would have spent more time with them. I wish I would have
Yeah.
done this and all of that. And that's completely normal. And just having that outlet and a place to express it is so important. And I know, like, when we had set out to do this podcast, it is still an outlet for you and I to express things that are going on in our life. And yes, I have not talked a lot about grief in the episodes at all, but today, that's what was sitting here. That's what's been surfacing for the last 3 or 4 days, and if I just sat here and pretended like I'm not grieving and I'm not feeling all these things, then what's the point? I'm not being authentic with you guys.
No, I totally agree, and you're right. I feel like grief has been such a theme, especially in my life in the last, like, weeks. It's been weeks, so I've been doing this, like,
Mhm.
30-day meditation, and, like, all this stuff is, like, coming through, and, like, the guilt around my, like, grandma and, like, all this stuff is just, like, heavy on my heart. When I was, like, a kid or, like, a teen and then my, like, early 20s, like, you don't think that it's still there stored inside, and it's like, well, how do you fix things? Like, when the person's not here to fix it. And then, like, what was so beautiful in my meditation, it was like my BB was like, "Girl, you're good. We're good." Like, everything is so different on the other side, and I know that I have a connection to that other side, and just, like, being able to express it and have a different relationship with people who have passed, and to be able to come back to, like, you don't have to be perfect here. And, like, as you were saying, like, he's not going to experience this, or, I wish I would have done this different, or I would have spent more time, or maybe my last moments could have been like this. That's just not how life works. And we're all in this mindset of, okay, like, I was a kid when my BB passed, like, teens, like, I consider that a child still, right? Like,
Mhm.
and you're selfish at that age, and you don't really know what's happening when you're like 10 or 9 or whatever it may be, and like you don't have control of that. It's like, what do you do in the aftermath? And it's like, we can feel these things, and that's okay. It doesn't make our healing not potent. It doesn't make our healing like we're not doing it right. And I feel like this is like also so important, is like, I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes I feel like, oh, when I do get emotional, or I do feel a certain way, or I am going backwards in the sense of like trying to sort out this healing that I thought, oh, maybe I'm moved past it or whatever it may be, that I feel like I'm falling behind, that I'm not actually as far as I am. But that's not life. Life actually doesn't flow that way. And like, it doesn't matter if we're all healing. Every day we're healing. Every day we're moving forward. Every day we're shifting. And I think that is so important. Like, so just for you, having all this grief come up around your trip doesn't mean all the work that you've done is like out out the window. Like, this is the part
No.
of the process. And I think, I don't know if you felt that way, if like, I know I have felt that way in the past, like, oh, if I feel this way, that means my healing didn't work. Like, it's something to achieve.
You know what I'm so fortunate for in this journey that I have been on for the last year and a half or so is that I've had mentors in my life, including yourself and Kate as well too, that have really, like, I've watched you feel, that sometimes like you're like, oh, I've had this moment where I felt like I was going back and all of that. I've had you guys there to guide me in the sense of that I never believe I am falling back into my old
Yeah.
ways. Like, I can't explain it. It's the way you guys have always been there present for me. And I've been so fortunate for that because not everybody has that. Sometimes they just have one person and then they start feeling that, all the work they have done has just completely gone back to day one again. I have not felt that way because I've always had you guys to encourage me and move me forward and tell me this is the part of the journey, this is the part of the
Yeah.
healing. So me feeling the way I'm feeling right now, I definitely do not feel like I'm going backwards at all. And like, why am I going back into the guilty feeling? Or I haven't had this big of an activation with grief in so many months. I'm welcoming it and I'm
Uh,
saying, hey, come here.
That's
Let's
so
let's feel
beautiful.
through it. And I'm gonna work through it and I'm gonna express it. And I'm gonna have my therapy session on my podcast. Let's just do it on this episode and let's get it out. And I wanted to say one thing quickly too, in terms of even us feeling guilty about things that we didn't do or should have done, or whatever the situation may be with whoever has passed on to the other side. I hope my sister does not mind me sharing this. I don't think she will mind, so I'm going to share it anyways. Um, she had felt a lot of guilt surrounding when my husband passed away. Her and my husband were very close. They were brother sister relationship and they fought like brother and sister too. And she had felt a lot of guilt when he passed away because she did not come for Rhea's first birthday and because she was going through her own health issues that obviously my husband was not really understanding at the time. And she also, like you, has a very strong connection to the other side. I have a bit of a connection, but I know you and my sister's connections to the other side is a lot stronger. And my husband came to her and he actually told her, I'm not mad at you. I love you. There is no hard feelings at all about you not attending because he was obviously mad in the human earth presence when he was alive. I do remember he was upset about that situation. But the thing is, once they move forward onto the other side, there's none of this, I don't like you,
Yeah.
I'm mad at you.
Mhm.
None of that exists anymore. They are free.
Yeah.
They are so happy. And they are here to protect
Yeah.
us. I have had messages where he has said he's worried about me, and that was in the deepest point of my grief. And he has said to me, I am worried about you. And he has come through to me and said that. And he has actually said all the things that I'm doing in my day-to-day life, and nobody would know that except for him
Yeah.
or somebody that lives in my house. So how is that coming to me? So I believe they are watching us. They are giving us guidance, but they're not holding any guilt or grudges or anger or anything towards
Yeah.
anyone. They're here to help us guide and help us move through our feelings. And that flicker of the light was exactly that. Babe, I'm here. I got you. Even if you can't see me, I'm still here with you guys and I'm always here with you guys. And I think that's the most important thing is that we know they're always with us no matter what. Thank you for joining this therapy session. Throw in a little joke at the end. I hope you guys liked this style of podcasting. I think it's something that we've been wanting to do from the beginning. So you'll see episodes like this pop up here and there where we really don't plan anything and we just chat. So today I guess ended up being grief and guilt during new big things that happen in life. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode and thank you so much. And I hope you aren't all just crying in a blob of tears on the ground. We love you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Sacredly Selfish. Stay connected with us on Instagram and TikTok at Sacredly Selfish. And if this episode spoke to you, be sure to follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs the reminder that choosing yourself is sacred, not selfish.